Welcome to my plant tour. So thought I would show you guys something that I have become quickly obsessed with. Plants, obviously. I started working at a garden center last year, and I didn't have a single plant in the house, and obviously we can see where that's gone. So I'm gonna say 1,000 times that something's my favorite, and then 5 minutes later say something else is my favorite. So yeah, just bear with me. I get really excited about them. This little guy is super cool. He came in a little trio here. I haven't had him long enough to know if he flowers or not, but I don't think he does. This one's one of my favorites, not just because of the pot. I love the pot so much, and it's very Western. And but I just really like him. I also don't know if he flowers. I haven't had him long enough, but he's just one singular guy. His spikes are pretty tiny. I've seen ones with really long spikes like this. This little guy, he was one of the first ones I ever got. So this pot was actually made by a friend of mine in high school. I did pottery in high school and had a lot of friends who did pottery. So yeah, so I had the pot and I was like, this little guy would go well in there. And he flowers pink, really pretty fuchsia blooms, and they're kind of small. They're just in between the spikes, so nothing too like crazy, but it does cover it if it's getting enough light. So you'll have a lot of blooms if it's getting some good sun. This one I actually got at Mance, which is, oh gosh, I don't remember what it stands for. It was a like nursery trade show. So I got to go with some of my friends from work and check out all the cool stuff that nurseries around the country are doing. And yeah, I got this little one here, and she has beautiful, beautiful purple flowers. Now this is my favorite. So this pot is just awesome. So I have a thing for frogs. If no one knows, I'll show you all of my cool frog stuff as we go through this. But yeah, my boss at my job at my garden center got this for me, and it's just so adorable. So this little guy, she was more upright when I got her. I believe she gets white flowers. I know it's called a ladyfinger. I believe that's like a common name. But I think she's starting to put out some new arms. So she was definitely reaching for light. I don't have a lot of light in my house, and my cat eats everything. So you gotta just make do. But this cactus has my favorite flower. This little guy right here. She puts out those like sort of longer shoots with a really big open flower, and they're like a beautiful fuchsia color. And yeah, I love them. So I'm really, really excited for those to flower. I have a couple Haworthia, which are also another one of my favorites. I didn't really pay much attention to them when I would go to the greenhouse and stuff and just check things out. They were pretty small, but then I got one, and it actually grew a lot, which they're notoriously like slow growing. And yeah, I just started finding ones that I really liked, and they surprised me, and they're really easy to take care of. This guy, I think I've been moderately overwatering him. I tried to put him in a really well-draining cactus soil, but I think I may have put a little too much regular soil in there. So maybe I'll repot him before I go, or just tell my mom to like never water him. So this little guy, he's just got like a zebra. I think it's a zebra Haworthia, and he's been really good. He's grown a lot since I got him. And yeah, it's just like the cutest pot ever, and looks like he's got a little cool haircut. So and this one is one of my favorites. Not only one of my favorite pots, it's one of the first pots I ever got from the garden center, but he's cool. Looks like a little hairdo, and yeah, it's just super cute. This was my most recent acquisition. We got another sheepy pot here, and it's a Sansevieria cylindrica fernwood. So I guess there's other types of cylindricas. There's one called a starfish that is super cool. And yeah, this is just a baby one. I hadn't seen them anywhere. I've seen the big ones, but they're really expensive. So I thought I would start off with a small one. And yeah, it's so funky, and I can't wait till it gets like huge. And it'll probably take forever, but it's so fun. Okay, now this is actually one of my favorites. This is like a top 5 favorite. Someone from work, I guess, left this to be taken, and then my friend, who always gives me awesome plant stuff, gave it to me, and it's a Sansevieria samurai. So these are just so wicked cool. They just grow these little arms outwards, and it's just like the funkiest little dude. So I love him. He's super chill. He doesn't grow much, but I didn't expect him to. So they're notoriously a little bit slow. Some are faster than others. And this is from the same friend. So this was actually a cutting from, it was a baby of one of hers. And it's a Hani, I believe, Sansevieria Hani. And I think now it actually has a little bit of new growth coming out there in the middle. You probably can't see it that well, but yeah, it's super cool. It's been really happy, and yeah, it was one of my first plants, and I love them. This is I believe it's a silver star. I think it's a silver star. Really cool, really just simple, and just has some really interesting variegation. But what I'm most excited about with this guy is that it's growing two little pups. If you can see it there, there's there's two little babies, and they're growing out right there. And that's how you get a cutting like this. So my friend started with one plant like this, and then it grew two little babies, and they started to just get bigger and overcrowd. And so you take them off, and they just grow really interestingly. I love that they grow cylindrically, and yeah, it's fun to watch them grow. So yeah, this little guy, little silver star, super cool variety. Love the variegation. But you can kind of see that it looks like tongues, and I got it because I loved that it looked like tongues. I thought that was so weird, and then I found out later I thought it was a Haworthia. It's actually a Gasteria, and it's sometimes called an ox tongue. So yeah, I don't know how big they get. I'm really intrigued to see if this thing gets massive. That would be so cool. And then this was a cutting. A girl at work, from work, gave it to me. I didn't know if it was going to survive. I'd had this big, beautiful jade that my parents were taking care of, and I think one of them was, I think one of my parents was watering it, and the other one was watering it, and they didn't know they were both watering it, so it was so cool, but it ended up having problems. So I didn't know if I would have luck with jades. I hadn't had one before, but this was just a little cutting, and it's already pushed out like a ton of new growth, and there's a little frog in there, adding my frog collection. So yeah, it's pushed out a ton of new growth. It's gotten way thicker, like the stem itself has gotten thicker, and I've been able to rotate it as, you know, it reaches for the sun, because again, it's on like a southeast facing window, but it's not like in the window. It's kind of away from it, but it's an awkward spot for plants. So a lot of them do reach, but yeah, I'm really excited about this guy. I think I could have a pretty big jade. Hopefully I just don't overwater him. I've had a couple issues with overwatering, and I try so hard not to, and still I've managed to. So yeah, that's why he's in terracotta. This little guy is one of my favorites again. He was one of the first plants that I ever got, like literally the first one. I just kept looking at him, and I was like, oh, I'm so in love. And it's an Aglaonema, also known as a Chinese evergreen. I believe it's a red Valentine. There's some that look like pretty similar, a little bit close to call, but I'm pretty sure when I got it, it was advertised as red Valentine. But it's just got this beautiful, beautiful variegation, beautiful pink, just all around, and some of the leaves, it's just such a dark green. I love Aglaonema. They're pretty easy. Just, you know, sometimes you'll get mainly what happened was the bottom leaves yellowed out, and that's just a simple overwatering thing. So as soon as I got that figured out, he's been great, and he's pushing out. He's actually got a few. It's really cool. When they have new leaves, they sort of grow. You won't be able to see it maybe on here, but they sort of grow from they like envelop each other. It's really, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm really excited because he looks like he has a whole bunch of new ones coming out. So yeah, as soon as spring gears up here and it gets warmer, hopefully he'll be really happy. So this guy is a rescue story. I gave him root rot. So this is a butterfly syngonium. Beautiful, beautiful. They're also known as arrowhead plants, Nephthyitis. They have a couple different names, but a lot of people know them as syngonium. And yeah, I believe this one's a butterfly, and so pretty. Again, one of the first plants I got. So he was good for about 5 months, maybe 4 months, and then started to wilt. So I had checked the soil, seemed dry, and I thought, oh no, like I've underwatered him, whatever. But he was also in a big plastic pot. He was in the same size as this one, so he was much more full. And it turns out his wilting was actually because he had root rot. So some plants will wilt and that means they need water, but some plants will wilt and it actually means you're overwatering them. So you kind of want to be careful and just make sure you're really checking the soil, either with like a moisture meter, which I finally got one. It was like $5 on Amazon, and you just stick it in the soil and it's super easy. Tells you if it's dry, moist, or super wet. But yeah, really be checking the soil because, yeah, I gave him root rot, but he had some aerial roots that were above the soil level. And so I chopped him off and I heard that Syngonium root really easily. So he's been great. He has a whole bunch of little new rooty babies growing in there, and they're getting ready. So as soon as he has some more, I'm going to give him, make sure he has some really strong roots before I put him in soil again. So yeah, but I'm super happy. He was my favorite. I was really sad when I thought he was going to die. I just had to sacrifice a good bit of him. I mean, I had to cut a lot of them off, but it's okay because they grow back. Another one of my first, just a Marble Queen Pothos, who's kind of sad right now. I can't really figure out why. I haven't overwatered her. And I don't think I'm underwatering her. My moisture meter and my hands say she is still moist. Don't know, maybe if she's just not getting enough light. I mean, pothos can usually handle low light, but she's okay. She's not, she's just a little unhappy. So we're going to figure her out, maybe take a look at her roots sometime. But she's beautiful. They're really simple, really pretty plants. They have great variegation, and I love her. So don't know what's up with her, but we're going to figure it out. Really excited about this one. Now, I believe it's a Pothos Enjoy, which is another variegated variety that's seeming to become more and more popular. I'm really happy when I got this one. The roots on it were just amazing, had so many beautiful roots, and she'd been rooting it for months. And I've had some new leaves open up kind of in this area. There's a couple back here that are starting to open up. Some aerial roots that are, reaching down into the soil and getting super happy. So I love this guy. It's so cool. The variegation is awesome. And yeah, so thanks, Lisa. Lisa's the best. She's my plant queen. She gives me all the good stuff. This guy. So this is my little peperomia. It's my little Hope peperomia. And when I first started working at the garden center, there was a huge one that was just like vining and crazy, and I wanted it so bad, but I have no place to put hanging plants, and I didn't have this rack at the time. Didn't know where. My window is like a west-facing window. I was like, everything's going to be so unhappy here. But yeah, I got this little guy, and it has 3 little itty-bitty baby new leaves that are going to become like these big guys, and I'm just jazzed. This is just a regular variegated Tridescantia, also known as Wandering Jew. And I got this as a cutting. I got a bunch of cuttings that fell off of a shipment that we had come in. And, I rooted a bunch of them, put them all in here, and some of them were just so unhappy. I could not figure out why. I was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. And then this guy was the happiest cutting, but he still seemed furious. And I was kind of giving up on him. I was going to leave him with my mom when I moved. I was like, see if you can figure it out. I don't really know. And he actually pushed out all of this new growth. All of these guys are just living their best lives, super shiny, super happy. He's got some new ones coming out there and there. He's making a comeback. So I don't know if I just got him in a good spot or what's going on, but I love him, and I'm glad I didn't totally just give up on him. So, this guy. Alright. This is my Ficus elastica burgundy. As you can see, all that's left is 3 leaves. And one, two. I had 2 stems, but this one is now, I think, dead. So, I don't know what happened to this. We are still trying to figure out why he was so upset. It was not root rot, so I just recently repotted him. There were 2 stems here. This one had about 3 leaves and this one had about 3 leaves. Just repotted them because I thought it was root rot. I'd been losing a lot of leaves, but I hadn't been watering it. I'm starting to think maybe it was some type of fungus issue. When I got it, it did have spider mites. When I treated it, it was very happy, and then there was one leaf that still had them, and then I just treated that leaf, and it seemed like after that it was going downhill. And I just used like insecticidal soap. I don't know why it got so mad. The foliage is just beautiful. It's just like this dark green with like red tones in it, and it's an awesome plant. So I'm gonna try my best to figure out how to love him right. So this is a Peperomia Silver Frost. Super cute, crinkly, blue-green leaves. I love it so much. I was so excited about this one, and he's been really easy to take care of. So is the Hope Peperomia. I know Peperomia are really popular varieties because people just, there's so many of them, and they say they're so easy to care for, and so far that's been my experience. I've only had them for about 2 months, so usually at the 3 to 4 month mark, if there's problems, that's when it'll start showing. So we'll see. Hopefully it's actually happy and it's not just like lying to me and making me think I'm a good plant mom. Someone posted a picture of this at a local nursery and I was just freaking out. So it's a Scindapsus pictus silver satin. Its care is very similar to a pothos, so they're supposed to be really easy to take care of, and they can vine off and create these like big beautiful vining trailing tendrils. So yeah, I've only had him for like 3 weeks, so have no idea how he's gonna be, if he's gonna be easy or hard, but he's beautiful. My mom has a monster aloe. It was gifted to her by a neighbor of ours before she moved, and it's just huge. And it had pushed out all of these babies, and I went to work and gave them to like a bunch of friends because it literally had like 7. And then I just kept a little baby for myself. So I have 2. That one's not doing that well. I think my dad was secretly watering it, and then we didn't know, so it's like really wet. So I've had to let the soil dry out. I checked for root rot. They seem okay. And yeah, this guy seems a lot happier. So he's doing good. I'm trying to give them as much sun as I can. It's not warm enough to put them outside yet, but if they can get some good sun and try and stay dry, that would be ideal. So my grandma was an orchid grower in Florida, not by profession, but just by hobby. And I loved, she just, the whole house, the whole outdoor patio area was covered with orchids, and they were so beautiful. So they have a special place in my heart, and I finally convinced my mom that she needed orchids. So she was scared that she would kill them. So she started with a little baby one. So this one, I'll do close-ups again of all these, but this little guy, super cute. We named her Martha because that was my grandma's name. And yeah, just like beautiful, these beautiful yellow throats and fuchsia, like, oh, it's just awesome. So this little baby is adorable. And then this one was a rescue orchid. So she was a giant, and there was this cute little limey green yellow orchid that had a whole bunch of dead flowers, and they didn't water it, and they hadn't taken care of them at all. And it was like $2. So we saved it, we repotted it in some sphagum moss. And yeah, so 3 little flowers remain. This little guy's opening up today. He just started. And yeah, it seems really happy. The leaves are great. It's got two great healthy stalks on it, little shoots coming out. So go mom. If you're looking for a new fun hobby, maybe make it plants because they're wonderful and they clean your air and make your life better. So thanks for watching, and yeah, be well.